bright. Learn day, educate and trade. Let's pave the way. The alliance stands strong and brave. Follow. Everybody joins the crypto world. Break the chains, watch the future unfurl. Decentralize, let your voice be heard. Everybody joins the crypto world. From wallets, cold to market world. Break the chains, watch the future unfold. Decentralize, let your voice be heard. Everybody joins the crypto world. From wallets, cold to markets high. Together we'll reach the sky. Knowledge shy.
Hello, everyone. How are you? It's good to see some of you here coming live to you from South Africa, Cape Town to be specific. And as you know, I am indeed living the crypto lifestyle, which means that I have the absolute privilege and the great freedom that crypto gives by traveling the world, trading, investing, and also having amazing times. And it very much matters to me that I show you exactly that, the crypto lifestyle as it unfolds for me. And I would be remiss not to show you the amazing reel that Andrea recorded here from the safari we did not all too long ago, 2 days ago, I believe, or was it yesterday? I don't even know anymore, but I do think you should follow Andrea and me on social media because you can see that a little bit behind the scenes, right? But there's lots to talk about. Before I kind of give you the lay of the land of what's going on in crypto and in the markets, I do want you to sign up to crypto.lifestyle, which is the address here below. It is a landing page. You enter in your email, and then as a thank you, you get a video that shows you how you can DCA Bitcoin, which is actually a good idea right now, and we'll see why here in a moment. Also, for those of you who are already on that mailing list, obviously, when you enter your information there, you're going to be put on a mailing list. You will have the information for an upcoming bootcamp that we facilitate here on March 18 and 17. So for those of you who want to partake in that, definitely respond to the welcome email and make sure to ask for the sign-up link. It is a paid course, but it teaches you everything I know and everything I actually do to live the crypto lifestyle. But that being said, let's talk about the markets because they are a little bit scary right now. And I have already alluded to in a previous video that most likely what we see at play here is President Trump's plan unfolding. When people voted for President Trump, I don't think they realized to what degree he would actually do what he said and promised he would do. So now we see all of that in unfolding, and there's a few items that we really need to understand, and that is, of course, the tariff wars, the tariffs that are imposed on Mexico, Canada, and China, and also potentially some other countries. The reason he does that is to give the markets a little bit of a hard time. And as you can see, it's almost a little bit like a game between a cat and a mouse. On one day, he says the tariff start tomorrow, and then there is some leeway given. But all of that leads to extreme uncertainty. And one thing is for sure, when there is uncertainty in the market, then people don't want to invest in risk assets. Now, this show is all about crypto, of course, but understand that what is unfolding is not about crypto. Crypto is only collateral damage in President Trump's plan. For that, to understand his plan, we need to understand what he's trying to achieve. He has a 4-year term and he wants to come out of this term as a winner. And there's two things he wants to do. He wants to come out as a winner, having slowed down the economy a little bit in terms of it being too hot, because he needs the economy to slow down a little bit so that the interest rates can drop. And as you may know, President Trump and Jerome Powell, who controls the interest rates, have a little bit of a difference of opinion. And this is, in a way, President Trump's lever to push the Fed into cutting interest rates. They really have no other choice to do so if his plan plays out the way it seems to be right now. Then Jerome Powell cannot really afford to have everyone point fingers at him and say you were the reason for a large recession because you didn't want to cut interest rates. So that's what's going on. The other thing that I heard today, which also is very plausible, is that there are a lot of debt there's a lot of debt that the United States has, the US government, that needs to be renegotiated. And the Trump administration wants that to happen at lower rates as they are right now. So think of you refinancing your home. You ideally want to do that at a better rate. And that is also something that is at play here. Again, crypto being the collateral damage in all of this, because really what comes first is the stock markets. And the stock markets are currently they're quite weak. When we use the S&P 500 as an index or a gauge for how the stock markets are doing, which we will look at that chart here in a moment, you will actually see that there are certain signs of a reversal. And also, technically speaking, there are a few indicators. For instance, the 200-day average, whenever the price is below that average, that often for some economists and experts is considered to be basically the start of the recession. And the start of a recession would also mean that we would see the end of the bull run. However, things are not quite as clearly like black and white always. Otherwise, if we could see in the future exactly, we would be very, very wealthy people, wouldn't we? But we definitely have to be aware of what is going on right now so that we can protect our assets, because that is really the most important aspect of investing, is to buy when the price is low and sell when it is as high as possible. And we might just be at a point where it might be wise, depending on what your risk appetite is, to actually sell off our risk assets, and lots of crypto coins are risk assets, and go into safety, into stable coins. And that is exactly what I have done actually with my portfolio that is allocated accordingly. But I am, of course, also looking forward to a few things. What am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to Bitcoin being cheaper to dollar cost average in. So as always, I keep buying my Bitcoin every single day, and I'm looking forward to buying it at cheaper rates. So that is for my long-term investment horizon. And then, of course, I also do some day trading where I look at shorter time spans. And for that, I actually say, well, we are at levels where Bitcoin is weak, the stock market is weak, and it very much looks like there is a possibility that the price of Bitcoin, for instance, will drop to roughly 72,500, that's an area that is the next support level. And if that happens, I'm not saying it will happen, but there's a very high chance that, or I should say, there's a very high risk that could happen, then that would be a zone of interest to look and see, is it something where we can open some longs, or so. And for those of you who don't know what that means, open longs, it basically means you, on trading platforms, you open a position that speculates on the price movement going up. Okay, you can also make money when when price goes down. That would be shorting the market. So for some people with lots of gumption, they would actually short the market now, short Bitcoin, meaning that they see the charts and they say, I think I can borrow some Bitcoin now, immediately sell it, take that money, and then wait until the price of Bitcoin is cheaper, and then rebuy it at a cheaper rate. And then the difference, you can keep that to as a profit, right? So that is how, if you are a good trader who understands these tools, then you can potentially make money in every type of market, which is pretty cool. And that is actually something I do with a smaller part of my portfolio, because when you long or short, you do that with trading derivatives. They're called futures or perpetuals. And that is something that can be a little bit tricky, because you can also apply leverage in doing so. Meaning, even if you only have $1,000 in your account, for instance, you can apply a 10x leverage, a 20x, a 30x, meaning you can control a position size that is 10 times higher than what you actually hold in your account. And that, of course, can go in your favor because you control a higher position size, but it can also go against you if you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what a stop loss is. You don't know the importance of risk management. And that is all something, of course, that we learn in our bootcamp that starts very, very soon. So definitely go to crypto.lifestyle and join my cohort that starts on March 17th. I promised you we would look at a few charts, just because that is actually something, unless you just dollar cost average into Bitcoin, looking at charts is inevitable. And the truth is, the more you become a person who solely relies on crypto for a living, which is essentially where I'm at, the more you also look at these charts. So one thing to understand is there's always these precursors to what happens to certain asset classes. The precursor to what happens in the stock market is the macroeconomy, right? So things such as the interest rates, the news, what does the Fed say? What does the president say? What are the wars doing? All of these things, of course, give a certain mood to the markets that then impacts the stock market. So the S&P 500 is a good indicator for that. It's interesting because the S&P 500 is a leading indicator to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is a leading indicator to the rest of everything in crypto. The alternative coins are the coins that are not Bitcoin. So a good representative for a healthy risk alternative coin would be Solana, for example, right? So we often have this trickle down effect where the money moves from the larger economy, often referred to as M2, how much money is in circulation, to the stock market, to Bitcoin, to alternative coins, down to very higher risk projects in meme coins or in decentralized finance. With all that said, I'm going to bring up the windows here with the chart so we can look at exactly what I'm talking about. So we start with the SPX here, the S&P 500. And you can see here, I drew this sad smiley last week, and even here you see my arrow. I said this was kind of a range that I saw for the S&P 500, and if we lose that level, we go further down, then that's really not a good sign. That's why the smiley or the cry emoji here, right? The cry face, not the smiley face, the cry face. So that has indeed happened now. And something else you can see here is this blue curve. That is the 200-day average, the 200-day average. And as you can see, for most of the time, if we zoom out a little bit, the prices are above that line. That means we have a healthy market that is growing, a so-called bull market, and we are not in a recession. And briefly, sometimes we visited the area below that line, that curve, but not for long, right? Not for long. And also prices were never really very far down below. And here you can see where we are right now. This is really as far as this is like the last minute, right? 5 minutes to midnight. We are underneath that curve, and we also are at we have a distance to it where you really don't want to see that getting any bigger. And that's just why I told you I have a feeling that if this turns around, which it could, because President Trump manipulates the market so harshly right now. He doesn't care about the short term. He doesn't care what's in your bank account right now and tomorrow. He cares about what is in everybody's bank account and the nation's bank account within the next 4 years, right? But there will be short-term pain. There will be some collateral damage, which is why I choose to be in stablecoins right now. And I only make very short to medium-term calculated trades where I see opportunities for that. Okay, so what are those trades? Well, I told you the S&P 500 is a leading indicator for Bitcoin. So we're going to go look at Bitcoin, and same thing here is not looking all too good because we have Bitcoin falling. And if we zoom out, you can see here I have what is called the Fibonacci levels, right? Those are levels that are important in trading and investing. And here we have the 50% level that currently seems to almost, let's see, yeah, we're slightly below, which is not a good sign. It's not a good sign. Here you see this is today. This was Sunday. So here, you see Friday, we had this low. We call this a wick, which is when within that day, the price quickly went down to that low, but then it recouped, right? And the price, the close was here at the end of the body. But what's interesting here now is that price revisited today that wick. And I'm going to tell you, if we lose that level, which that could happen while we are on the show here. If we lose that level, then I believe the next level, as you can see here, that is interesting, is the 382 Fibonacci level, which coincides with roughly 72,300. That also coincides with you can see we call these support levels, right? When the price touches a level, and in this case, upper resistance, the price touches an upper level on multiple occasions, which it did here, here, and here, then that becomes a zone of interest. All of that to say that is very likely that if we lose the current, actually where it is right now, if we go any more down, very, very likely that will visit the $73,000 region, and then we'll have to see. Here, potentially, there could be some good. What happens is a bounce. We call that a bounce, right? So if this happens when it hits this key area, we see a bounce, and it could do something like this, and then go even further down to maybe the 60s, and then continue up. I mean, anything is possible, right? So that would be one scenario that is actually quite likely to happen right now. What would be really good is if this was just a temporary correction and we would still have a final leg to the bull run. That is still possible, by the way. So it's just about being aware that right now it really looks like there's a very high risk of us going to visit the 382 here. Then we have that bounce, and then we could do this again, right? This yellow line, by the way, is a diagonal, and it's a very interesting one because it has acted as a support for this uptrend here in Bitcoin. So all of that to say there's a lot going on in the markets right now. There's a lot of fear. And also something that I want to look at here briefly with you is the inflows into the exchanges, right? So as you know, crypto can only increase in value if more people participate, meaning more people go on to things such as Coinbase and Kraken and Binance and bring money from their traditional system, the fiat system, into the crypto space. And this curve here measures exactly that. And as you can see, we have here what we call lower lows, lower highs and lower lows, right? So that is not a good sign, because if you drew a line here across touching those tops, it would be a descending line as well, meaning the amount of money that comes into crypto is decreasing. I think at this point you get the idea. You know exactly what I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you it is a moment where very likely we have this correction to 72,500-ish, and then we have a bounce. This is not guaranteed, by the way. You have to really look at the data. The data tells the truth. I know I don't have a crystal ball. I can just do the following. I can listen to the news, listen to the experts in the space, look at these charts, and then make highly educated guesses. And based on those guesses, I can then place my longs, my shorts, or just buy the asset, buy Bitcoin. And right now, I just really I told you, I sold off all my high risk assets. I'm sitting in cash, as we say. I have stable coins, and I'm only going to do two things. I'm not even going to short, because you never know if price does move up. Is entirely possible, especially in a market where we have such low volume. Low volume meaning low participants. That means that it is easy for the market to be manipulated. A tweet from the president could be enough, right, for the price to go against me and my short to be liquidated. So I'm choosing to just wait it out, see what happens. I will definitely get very interested when we when we reach the area of 73,000, 72,000. Then I might open a long for that corrective bounce, not corrective bounce, for that short-term bounce, and see where it goes then. But between now and then, here's the great thing, folks. I am happy. I'm happy every day that I get Bitcoin at a discount, because, and I said that earlier to you in an earlier video, there is no longer a question as to whether Bitcoin is of value or not, whether it's a real thing or not, whether it's a fad or not, is not. We have an entire US government that is absolutely determined to make, well, it's not even determined. Last Friday, President Trump signed into existence the strategic Bitcoin reserve. And that just means that a lot of institutional actors, a lot of big actors are more than happy to buy that Bitcoin at discounts. And you should too. So instead of buying it all in one sweep, what you want to do is dollar cost average into it. And you can do that just as a reminder, here, if you go to that link, crypto.lifestyle, you enter in your email, and then the welcome email that you get from my system contains a link to a video that explains dollar cost averaging, shows you what kind of gains you can potentially expect, and also how to set it up. So there's quite a bit in there. So do that now. There's one more thing I need you to know. I happen to not only trade and invest, but I'm also one of rather a few set of people who also invest in decentralized finance, which is a whole different beast, really, but a very powerful one. And that lets me make money in any kind of situation by being diversified in decentralized finance, by being invested in the crypto market as a long-term, medium-term, and short-term investor. Join my newsletter list, and if you want to join the cohort, which I highly recommend, is going to be March 17 and 18, 5 hours every day, very intensive. It's a paid program, so you do have to join the mailing list and find out how much it is if you are interested. But yeah, we also have a community attached to it, which might be something that you're interested in. Whenever I have information and charts to share, I do that in real time in a chat group, Telegram. So yeah, that's that. If there are any questions or comments, put them in the chat right now, because I am getting hungry, and Andrea and my mother Blanche, they're probably waiting for me to go have dinner here. We're in Camps Bay, and along the bay you have a strip with multiple restaurants, and there's so many good restaurants here. I don't know if you've ever been to South Africa, but it's definitely worth visiting, which is part of the crypto lifestyle, right? It's something that I have started doing very actively since the beginning of this year. And obviously traveling, enjoying that location independence is an essential part of everything. Fantastic. I don't see any questions. Thank you so much. Listen, there's one important thing right now as an investor in crypto, but also in other asset classes, and that is not to get what we call shaken out, right? You need to be have thick skin right now and take advantage of these discounted rates and have a medium to long-term vision. This could really take some time to play out, because again, President Trump's time horizon is 4 years. So he has that time, and he's not in a rush to right now get the stock market up. He wants the markets to cool down. He wants the GDP to maybe even decrease a little bit, so that he can pressure the Fed to lower those interest rates. At least that's a theory which I learned by doing my research, and I think it's true. I think there's truth to it. All right, thank you for your time, and I'll see you again on this channel most likely tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Make sure you like this if you find it interesting. If you think it will help someone, share it, and also subscribing is always something that is very, very welcome as well. That's it for now. I'm going to leave you with our beautiful outro video of the Crypto Alliance, which you can also go to mycryptoalliance.com and take a test to see how risk-friendly or not risk-friendly you are and should be. Bye-bye for now.